conversation.
If he don't win this year, he's a bum.
What? No, that's a Hall of Fame terrible take right there.
No, it's
Hall
not.
of
It's
Fame
true.
terrible take.
It's so true. Boy just choked. Straight women booty and let the ball go.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you.
LeBron James
puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound box. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Irving and Curry. One-on-one with Irving. Puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
Prescott.
Oh, yeah, but we'll get to explaining
Back
it in a
again.
second. How we doing, Joseph? How we feeling, baby?
Could be purple, could be pink, depending on how you mix it. It's just Canada Dry. It's just Canada Dry. I swear, it's just Canada Dry. with a splash of.
You're on a great start today, Joe. You're off to a great start.
I don't have the candle. I swear it's Canada Dry with a splash of cherry or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just,
or whatever.
yeah.
Purple,
so, pink.
Joe, tomorrow, it's here. We've been waiting for it all season. We got the finals.
Wait,
Joe,
whoa.
I gotta give you your credit.
Thank you. I was waiting before we did anything else.
You got the two teams exactly right. So credit to where credit is due.
I'm not gonna take
the
the
Eastern
Celtics.
side was pretty easy. But the Mavs side was on the Boulder side, and it came true. So I got to give you your props, Joe. Shout out to you.
And what I say, Luka was gonna average 30.
I don't remember all the details.
I think I said he was gonna average like 35 or something crazy, but he was close.
No, hey, Luka's been.
No, that first round I was a little worried. I ain't gonna lie.
Luka's been good. Yeah, they've won a lot of good close games, and that kind of proves out how they've been in the regular season. I think they were ranked second in clutch time, which makes sense when you have Luka and Kyrie. But before we dive into the finals, we're going to get all the way into it. We're going to talk about the conference finals, recap those a little bit, remember what happened in those series. We'll get into the keys for each team, and then we'll eventually pick a winner. But first, there was a viral moment, I believe it was yesterday on First Take, where Stephen A. Smith and Monica McNutt were discussing the WNBA and the coverage for it. So we've got some of the sound prepared here.
Who talks about the WNBA? Who talks about women? Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A. Respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Who's the best pop?
All right, we gotta go. You guys.
So did
You know you're my guy, but
who does more than
Stephen A., I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the power that you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
So, yeah, that happened. Joe, bring us up here full screen. What was your reaction to this? Because I've seen so many takes. I've seen a lot of really bad takes, in my opinion. But I'll give you the floor first. I know you wanted to talk about this today, so I want your thoughts on this one, Joe.
I don't know how it got so serious. I thought it was just it was an honest thing. Like, obviously, she's not sitting there saying, yeah, Stephen A. says it happens like that. Obviously, there's people above Stephen A. that he has to go through. But if Stephen A. says, I want to talk about it, it's likely they're going to talk about it. They go to HBCUs now because Stephen A. said, I want to go to HBCUs. They go to those now. They went to Shannon Sharp's alma mater because Stephen A. Smith said so. So she's absolutely right. If Stephen A. Smith wanted to talk about the WNBA before Caitlin Clark, that's exactly what they would do. But he didn't want to talk about it because it wasn't a polarizing topic, just like he doesn't talk about hockey. And all he knows about hockey is the puck is black. If it's not going to sell and it's not going to generate arguments or conversation, he's not going to talk about it. And she said that, and she was being quite honest with it. I don't know why Stephen A. took it so serious and spent a whole 12 minutes on his podcast talking about how he made all these women in sports all of a sudden. And you know why you know about Monica McNutt?
Right there.
It's because I put her on the air. Like, come, bro, you proving her point.
That's exactly the point right there. That was the
her point, bro.
That was what do they say when damn, what's that phrase? Something about a dog hollering.
When a hurt dog hollers.
Hurt dog hollering. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He couldn't. He sat on it for like what 10 hours, He had all that time, or 8 hours, whatever it was, to think about it, think about what he wanted to say, and he led immediately with misogyny.
He had to
He
write
said,
a monologue.
"I put all these women on.
That's
That
exactly what
was
he said.
me." It's not that Monica McNutt is great at her job. It's not that Molly Kieran's good at her job. It's not that Carrie Champion was great at her job. It's not that Drea Carter's not great at her job. Shanae's not great at her job. It's because Stephen A. said it, which is exactly Monica's point. If he said, "Let's talk about the WNBA," like you just stated, they would have been talking about the WNBA. And there are plenty of talented women in the WNBA before Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Cam Brink. All these people that are getting kind of the popularity right now, Cordova, all of these players, right, that are bringing in some of the college fandom, right? Asia Wilson's been there. Breonna Stewart's been there. Sabrina Ionescu's been there. Candace Parker
Asia
was
Wilson
there.
has a statue in South Carolina.
Yes.
Like, so they could have been talked about
Candace
her.
Parker, I remember when we were growing up watching her games at Tennessee on
That's when I started watching
ESPN.
Yeah.
I remember that. So it's not like they haven't had stars in the women's game. Maya Moore, right? She was a superstar, came in. Now she's doing her own
Skylar Diggins
altruistic shit, and that's fantastic for her. She's a way better human being than I am. Skylar Diggins Smith, she was a superstar. Like, we've had plenty of women superstars. Yeah, like there's been plenty of women that are superstars in college that had some popularity that they could have talked about in this manner for a long time. Now, I'm of the opinion that I think that there's like a lot of like diehard, longtime WNBA fans that are doing this gatekeeping bullshit that I think is really, really, really stupid. Yes, I understand. You have to explain some things from when the sport was not as popular. I get that. Be happy that more people are paying attention now. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Are there some problems with why it is starting to happen now and it didn't happen before? Of course. But at the end of the day, the women's sports in general, the WNBA specifically, needs these moments if they're going to continue growing. So, like,
but I'm okay with the pettiness, though. I'm okay with the pettiness too, because hey, it's human nature. Like, hey, we've been here. Like, we're not gonna just let you take over the league. I'm gonna get my shine too. And the best way for me to get my shine is to go against you because you're getting all the cameras. So I'm gonna show everybody that I'm better than you.
I'm not talking about the players. Okay. I don't have that.
The media is the one that's.
I'm talking about the fans that want to sit here and get
ridiculous.
The WNBA has always been this physical. How do you not know that? You're not a real fan. Okay, fantastic. You need more real fans, or they're gonna have to keep, or Brittany Grimes have to keep going to Russia to play fucking basketball.
Don't isolate the new fans. Don't isolate the new fans.
Teach, sure. Showcase what has happened in the last 20 years within the WNBA, fine. The belittling and like condescending shit is not going to help you grow the sport.
Nope.
It's good that it's getting talked about more. Conversations and arguments and disagreements about teams and players and who's doing what. That's all fantastic. That's how all of these sports grow. But don't do don't try and turn people off from being a fan. Like, that's just stupid. That's just stupid. Anything else you want to say about the situation, Joe, before we dive into the finals?
No, man. Caitlin Clark not playing good. They needed her to play better. And
won't let me.
I mean, I heard this is a great point. I heard this listening to NBA radio, and I thought it was a great point. You know, they beat up Michael Jordan too. What happened? They changed the rules. Hey, that politician in Indiana may have a point. Hey, he may have to come up with some rules like, hey, guys, or at least maybe not rules, but there needs to be a conversation.
I just think people have to.
There has to be a conversation.
I felt like this before the season started for the WNBA. Just look at the NBA, right? Like, everyone's much more familiar with the NBA. Only certain types of phenoms can come into the league and immediately have that type of impact.
Exactly.
None of them are like Caitlin Clark. Right? Steph Curry did not come into the NBA and have an immediate impact.
Nope.
The players that can come into the league, have an immediate impact, all have one or two things in common. They're either just physically like bigger, faster, stronger, right? It's either athleticism or physicality. No, I mean, Shaq came to the league dominated right away, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Even Wemby this year, right? Like, Wemby came in and did his thing.
Right.
LeBron, athletic as fuck. Right, Melo, a physical freak. Right, even as a 19-year-old, he had like a man's body. Dwight Howard, athletic freak. Right, some people that play like Caitlin Clark, it's going to take some time to get used to that physicality. And yeah, she's being targeted. She's not any other first overall pick, right? Like Aaliyah Boston didn't get this last year. Number 1 overall pick on the same fucking team, right? Like she didn't get this type of smoke.
I will say there must be something though. She got to look into herself too, because her teammates ain't helping. That says a lot more than anything. You get knocked down, getting beat up, and your teammates ain't doing nothing. Like,
I mean, I think her teammates naturally are going to be jealous too, right?
I get that, but you gotta help your teammate up. Like, you gotta
to
be
me.
defensive.
So to me, this is like this. There's a reason.
It kind of looks like, oh, there she
number 1
goes.
overall. To me, that's more of this is why they keep picking number 1 overall. They don't have real vets. They don't have real vets. They don't have real leaders in their locker room.
True, that's there.
I heard I think it was Matt Barnes was talking about this. He's like, look, I knew my role in every single team I was on. Protect the superstar. Someone needs to be that on Indiana. Someone's got to protect Caitlin Clark, protect Aaliyah Boston. Those are your meal tickets right there. If y'all are going to be a good team, just saying.
They can't defend worth shit though either. They are so bad. They need it's bad over there. They're not good. It is what it is.
Let's move on to the NBA Finals, though, Joe. It is that time. We'll start by recapping the first round.
The champ is here.
Or not the first round, but the conference finals. The Celtics swept the Pacers. Joe, what was your reaction to this series?
You know, the Celtics have not played well in the playoffs. I mean, in 3 out of the 4 games that they played against the Pacers had a 90% chance to win going into the fourth quarter.
No, not just going into the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter. So the Pacers found a way to lose. So to me, Celtics are in this real situation where they got to come out. They cannot be rusty because they haven't looked good yet. So I don't even know if you can say if they come in and they play like they played against the Pacers, it's rust. That's going to be, that's just who they are in these playoffs. And if they play like they did against the Pacers, they don't have a chance.
Completely agree. Pathetic performance against the Pacers. And this, I mean, every single round they've had their moments where they just, and I said this, and, you know, a lot of people just accuse me of being a fan. Even in the first round against the Heat, right? Yes, you can see, Heat fan. I get it. I have a bias. If the Heat just had somebody to put the fucking ball in the basket early in the game, those games would have been a lot tighter. The Heat just literally, they're 2 people that can go get their own bucket consistently. Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier did not play. But the way they defended and the way they made the Celtics look out of sorts, out of control, that's the Celtics that I always worry about. That's the Celtics I worry about creeping up at the worst time, and they reared their ugly head the entire playoffs, right? We saw it against the Cavaliers, even when they didn't have Donovan Mitchell. And I was like, oh, well, it's easy to not get up for a game when the other team does another. I don't want to hear that bullshit. Yeah, that can happen in the regular season, not in the playoffs. I'm not trying to hear like, oh, they just didn't get up for the playoff game. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck, that's a fraudulent team if they can't get up for a playoff game.
Seriously, and they've been there, so they know what it means.
They've been there for 8 years.
They know what it means. Talking about they can't get up. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
And then, like you said, 90% probability to win for the Pacers in 3 of the 4 games. The Pacers should have been up 3-1. They ended up getting swept. First game, solely on our boy Halliburton. I don't know how he gagged that away like he did, but that was one of the biggest choke jobs I've seen in a minute in the NBA.
But he looked good after, until he got hurt. Yeah,
until he got hurt. Then he misses the last 2 games, and the Pacers still have leads late into the fourth quarter that they had to really figure out. It really had to dig deep to find out how to fuck up those games.
I mean, I like Nembhard, but he is not that good for him to be cooking like that for 2 games. Like, come on. Like, seriously? Come on. Those games should not have been close. It was ridiculous.
At all. And even game 4 came down to Drew Holiday making a Drew Holiday play on an offensive rebound to keep it alive to ice the game. It's just like, god damn, man. That series is the epitome of why I will never trust these Celtics.
Yeah, and now they got to
play different. We'll get into the series, but yeah. Let's talk about the other series before we get into the actual final stuff. The Mavs, they allowed the Timberwolves to get 1 game, but they cleaned up Game 5 real quick.
I told you what was gonna happen. I told you. Don't trust. Call Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. I told you they didn't have the mental fortitude to handle it. And that's exactly what happened. You got Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. I told you it was going to happen, man. That's literally what happened in that series.
What did I tell you when we were? I can't remember if we were on air or off air. What did I tell you? I hate that Rudy Gobert is on fucking Ant's team. Like, why do we do that to myself?
Because that seepage leaks over, man. It's ridiculous.
Free Ant. That's all I got to say. Free Ant. He didn't have a great series. I'm not gonna give Ant a pass because he did not play very well scoring the ball. And like we talked about last episode, I don't care that you're getting double. I don't want to hear any fucking excuses because the people that you are getting compared to never get excuses. Figure it out. He didn't figure it out.
Did you see that video of him mic'd up? He was like, man, they keep telling me to pass the ball. I ain't passing no damn ball. Just pass me the ball.
Yeah, I would like that more if he fucking would have made some shots. But yeah,
right, exactly.
I like the energy. But
you got to do something.
And at the end of the day, here's the thing about the Mavericks, right? When you're playing the Mavericks, they're a hard team to come back on late in the game. Because it's going to get to a point when it's either Kyrie or Luka's got the ball in their hand, and you're relying on them to miss shots down the stretch to get you back into the game. That's tough when you're not like when the crux of your defense is what's getting exploited in the fucking series. So, congratulations, Gobert. You got to stay out there. You got your ass cooked 4-1, getting blown out by like 40 in the game 5. Congratulations, buddy. Defensive Player of the Year 4 different times. Just unbelievable. Frauds all over this place, Joseph.
I tried to warn you, man.
I got swept up in the ant hype.
It was okay.
I got swept up. It's all good.
And then they thought the best move was to play Kyle Anderson. Okay, bro. When you need
it was better. It was better than some Rudy Gobert.
I guess, but you need offensive production. Anthony Edwards only giving you 16, 20 points, man. Can't have Kyle Anderson out there like that, and Cat not giving you nothing. It was just all bad. It was all bad.
Okay. Well, on top of that, I just don't think people want to talk about today, but we got to talk about them. So, moving on to the finals, we got Celtics and we got the Mavs. Celtics will have home court advantage because they had the best record in the NBA during the regular season. So, we'll start with them. What are the keys for the Celtics to win the NBA Finals? Joe Mo Davis.
Don't be yourself in the fourth quarter. Find a way to not be what you've been for the last 4 or 5 years in the fourth quarter. That's one key. The other thing is, I guess, man, that's really Porzingis. You need Porzingis because Al Horford can't be your only big man. You're going to need some help on your bench. And your
who they did say is on track to play Game 1 tomorrow.
Yes,
or tonight.
And it's probably going to be his last season. The man, 38 years old, so he's going to do whatever he can to go out there and play. But I think Porzingis' health is going to be key too. If you can't stretch that floor and try to get Gafford and Lively out of that paint as their shot blockers, you're not going to have a chance. Because what they're going to do is just lock down the paint. If they can lock down the paint, you know what the Celtics are going to do. They're going to fall in love with the three, and if they're not making them, they're going to lose because they're going to just keep shooting them and keep shooting them. So I think Porzingis is going to be key. If Porzingis' health and he can stretch some of those big men out from the paint and give Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday some chances to get some layups, that's going to be real big for him. But for me, I just don't trust them in the fourth quarter, and that's going to be what it's going to come down to because these teams are close, and I think it's going to be a close series. They got to be clutch in the fourth quarter and figure out how to play together, and then Porzingis has to play well.
Yeah.
I'm asking them to do something they haven't shown.
The Celtics, I think for the Celtics, they need to just be disciplined, right? They're going to have to. They are going to be able to get Luka on whoever they want, right? They need to be disciplined and not just fall into we're just going to try and ISO Luka the whole game. A lot of teams have tried that this postseason. It has not been very successful. It just hasn't. Mm-hmm. I think one thing that I do think the Celtics have going their way, their defensive versatility among their key players, I think gives them one of the better chances that I don't know that the Mavericks have really seen in their run so far. The ability to kind of blitz Luka and Kyrie on pick and roll situations and just be more aggressive, getting the ball out of their hands and then helping and recovering, I think is going to be something that can be an advantage for them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, that's only as good as they, went on offense, not turning the ball over. Because if you allow Dallas to play fast, they're virtually unbeatable. Dallas is too stupid to realize that, so they're going to slow the game down, take advantage of that. But the ball has to keep moving offensively. The ball has to keep moving. It can't be this search out Luka, search out Kyrie, and try and ISO them. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Derek Jones Jr. will still help down. He'll recover back to wherever the fuck he's supposed to recover to. Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford are still going to be helping at the rim. Luka's job defensively, Kyrie's job defensively when they are on ball is the easiest it's been in that Dallas tenure. Mm-hmm. And honestly, probably in Kyrie's career as well. Like, just all the stops that he's been on. Like, this is the best defensive situation for them.
You're right.
For them to really be able to focus in on a few key things, and then let the other guys do the dirty work.
Kyrie had Tristan Thompson or Kevin Love behind him.
Yeah,
you're right. You're so right. You're so right. That's crazy.
And I think you're seeing it pay off. Like, I've seen Luka play just legitimately good defense.
They have
playoffs.
Yeah,
and it's not because it's different when you got help here. Luka's a smart player, so even though he's not going to be the quickest laterally, he's still going. He's like, okay, I know where my help is. I know which way I need to just play this defender, and then if he comes back this way, I'll take the charge. Right? He's taken a few charges this playoff run, and it's been at very key times. So move the ball, use the switches to create advantage, not purely for yourself. I think that's kind of the key, and that's what's been hard for them. And one guy that I got to give credit so far, like Jaylen Brown has hooped most of these playoffs. There's going to be a different test, though. They got all their players as of now. They got all their players, and they got some real defenders to throw at you. And they got a guy that's gone up against you in these types of moments before, in Derek Jones Jr. So it's not going to be new to him, and he's going to be able to share some of that stuff with all the Mavericks players as well. So let's talk about the Mavs. What are the keys to the Mavs victory?
Follow Harriet Tubman to the promised land. I'm telling you, Kyrie has proven that he is a real leader. Who would have thought they had ever seen Kyrie put his arms over Luka's shoulder and give him advice? I really think Kyrie going to be key. He's going to let these guys know what it's like to be in this situation in the finals. I think he's going to be real key. What Kyrie does, if he's there, if he's that calm presence that he has been in the playoffs, I think that's going to be huge. And then secondly, just keep the game close. If you can keep the game close going into the fourth quarter, the Celtics going to crumble under that pressure. And we already know you guys can handle the pressure with Luka and Kyrie clutch enough to handle anything in the fourth quarter. If one's not cooking, the other one's going to be cooking. They're going to take turns. They're going to find a way to make it happen. So if I'm the Dallas Mavs, we just got to keep the game close. Just keep doing what you've been doing because you've been able to take down some people. You really haven't made that much adjustments. Teams had to try to adjust to you, and you've made it work. So, and Joe Mazzulla, I don't have that much faith in him making a lot of adjustments to scare Jason Kidd and make you guys deviate from what you've been doing all playoffs. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep the game close and follow Kyrie and Luka to the promised land for real. That's all they really need to do.
I have similar thoughts. I'll go with some details on how to get there. Right, I agree. If you keep the game close, that plays to the Mavericks, into the Mavericks' hands. One thing I think is going to be key, and again, we talk about discipline. And the one thing that I get worried about, I don't want anyone. That's what Kyrie's there for. One, know who's refereeing: Scott Foster, Tony Brothers. Mm-hmm. All right, those are two of the officials. They don't take shit. Luka, you bitch a lot about shit that you should not be bitching about.
They've been good in the playoffs. The refs have been holding the whistle this playoffs. They've been good. I'm gonna give the guys credit. They've been good this playoffs. You're not gonna give them credit. You don't think they've been good this playoffs?
No.
I've seen the entire coach run on the court after a bad call, and they didn't give him a tech or throw him out or nothing.
All I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
The way Jason Tatum plays basketball, the way Jaylen Brown plays basketball, the calls that they will get is going to be frustrating. Can't have the tease, can't have foul trouble even, right? Like, you just got to stay disciplined. It's one call. If it's one call, it's one call, right? Like, that's step one because the Mavericks need Luka and Kyrie. Celtics are deeper, in my opinion.
They are.
Secondly, play fucking fast. Do not try and play against a set Celtics defense.
They're too long.
There's no reason to do that. They're very versatile. They're very long. They've got a lot of really good defenders. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown are all excellent on-ball defenders. Get up and down. Don't let them get set. The Celtics are prone to fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
When are they going to fuck up? When they're having to just react and they're not able to get comfortable and get into their sets defensively. Go fast. And then when it's money time, like you said, Joe, if it's close, I feel good about the Mavericks winning.
Yeah, fucking play call. Just let them go out there and do their thing.
Exactly. And I think Derek Lively needs a lot of minutes. The one of the biggest weaknesses I see for the Mavericks is because I think one thing that the Timberwolves kind of exposed when Lively got hurt, it's a lot easier to guard the Mavericks in that pick and roll when it's Daniel Gafford.
Yes, because Lively has better hands
in the short roll. Derek Lively has better hands. He's a much better passer, and he reads it quickly. Lively, the ball kind of sticks, and the Celtics are athletic enough to get back to all their positions. So you have to be decisive, and you can't wait. Like, just be decisive. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But be decisive and play with confidence. If they do that, fourth quarter, easy money, close them out. Sorry, Boston. Fuck you. Haha. Kyrie gets his revenge. But
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. So let's talk about the matchups that we're looking forward to, Joe. I think there's some good ones in this series. But I want to know which matchups you think are going to be most impactful and what you're kind of looking forward to keeping up on.
I mentioned it earlier. I'm real interested to see Porzingis in his matchup and how he's able to stretch Lively or Gafford to get them out of the paint. But then another matchup that I'm interested in is obviously Drew Holiday versus Kyrie. Like, Drew Holiday is that dude. Like, he on-ball defense, he's some of the best I've ever seen at the guard position. But it's going to be real interesting to see what he does with Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie's not somebody you can sit there and game plan for and say, okay, he's going to dribble, and then he's going to go to the right. You don't know what Kyrie's going to do. Kyrie doesn't know what he's going to do as he's dribbling. He's that artistic with it. So I think that's going to be real interesting to see how that affects Drew Holiday, because I don't really think he's going to have an impact offensively because he's going to be so focused in on trying to stop Kyrie. So I think that's going to be a real interesting matchup. I don't think there really is going to be a Luka matchup because I think they're going to try to switch it up as much as possible. I know in the two games that they played in the regular season, Tatum and Luka played against each other a lot one-on-one, and they lit each other up. But it's not going to be like that in the finals. It's going to be more help defense and stuff. So I think that's going to be interesting to see who they put on Luka the most. Is it going to be Derek White? Is it going to be Tatum? Is it going to be Brown? Who gets the majority of that defense?
I'll tell you who I think it's going to be. So you got earmarked for Kyrie. I think you put Drew on him. I think Drew's the strongest one out of all their defenders. Even
that's true. He is the strongest one.
He might not have the height. Don't matter.
He's the strongest one.
Don't matter. I think I would go out at least the majority. I wouldn't start him there because I don't want him picking up cheap fouls early. But when it's money time, I want Drew on. I'll tell you. I want Drew on whoever's got.
In the fourth quarter where Luka's bringing the ball up the court.
Luka or Kyrie's got the ball.
Whoever's bringing the ball up the court.
Drew got him.
In the fourth quarter for sure.
And Derek White's got the other.
Yeah.
I'll put it just like that. I don't want Tatum or Jaylen Brown spending much time on them because, again, I'm not trying to get them in foul trouble if I'm Boston. Like, that's just Luka does all that foul baiting shit. I wouldn't even try that. What I am interested to see, I like the Porzingis comment, Joe. I think that's a good matchup to look out for. If he can effectively draw them away from the rim. What I wonder, I've noticed the Celtics try to incorporate a little zone throughout these playoffs. I'm interested in seeing if they do that. I think that's a good way to combat the Porzingis problem, that we can kind of keep Lively and Gafford around the rim. I'm sorry, Mavericks running zone. Keep their bigs around the rim.
Mm-hmm.
For Boston, I'm interested in seeing what some of the others do in terms of their scoring. The Peyton Pritchards, the Derek White offensively. I think those guys are going to be really key if Boston's going to make a run, because
Pritchard gonna have a game where he makes 6 threes or something stupid, bro. I hate when he does that shit.
Horford, right? Like I think
Al Horford gonna have a good game. He's gonna have like a 20-10 game where he go 8 for 8 somehow or some stupid shit. Yeah, it always happens with the Celtics, but they'll find a way to lose.
On the flip side, PJ Washington. You've hit a lot of big shots.
I forgot about PJ Washington.
What you got in these playoffs?
I'm gonna need 20 from you, bro.
He could be an interesting person to try and put on Porzingis as well, to try and kind of save kind of Lively and Gafford from being stretched out there. You just kind of put them on whoever you think their weakest shooter is. So yeah, that would be interesting, because one thing we know about Porzingis, you don't have to guard him with the big.
No,
he's not gonna put you on his back and try and walk you into the basket. That's not what he's gonna do. And then of course, you know where I got to end the matchups I'm looking at. Derrick Jones Jr. Who you taking and how effective can you be against him? Because we talked about it before the Mavs Timberwolves series. Sorry, Ant. He got you up out of there though, Playboy.
Yes, he did.
And is he gonna do that again to Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Because if he has that type of effect,
it's possible.
Bye-bye. And I love Derrick Jones Jr. and the defense he brings. If he can make some timely shots like he's been making all playoff run, tough team to beat. Tough team to beat, Joe.
You know another good matchup? Jason Kidd versus Joe Mazzulla. Two coaches, though, who don't have a lot of respect right now, going to gain a lot of respect if they win the championship.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Two coaches with a lot of question marks on it. Are they really good at making adjustments and strategizing?
I'm not sure I love that as a matchup per se, but I mean, it is a matchup, and one of them is going to get probably more credit than they deserve.
Yeah, facts. How about this matchup? I got another good matchup for you.
All right, talk to me.
So whoever wins, so the Mavericks win, they'll probably end up down the line saying they got 2 Hall of Famers, right? Luka and Kyrie.
Okay.
If the Celtics win, they have 4 Hall of Famers on their team. I'm just saying, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You win a championship for the Celtics, you're really likely going to get into the NBA Hall of Fame, especially if you were a star player.
I'm just waiting for you to name the other 2 before I get mad.
Drew Holiday, because he would have one with the Milwaukee Bucks. Then he'll have one with the Celtics, and he's been on all defensive teams multiple times, been an all-star multiple times. And then Al Horford. He would have an NBA championship. He would have 2 college national championships. He would have a all-NBA second team in 2011, and he'll have
the way you fucking hand out Hall of Fame bids is
2018.
The way you hand out Hall of Fame.
That's my point.
Is fucking absurd.
That's my point. That's my point.
First of all, not one of them deserves a Hall of Fame bid.
But they're all going to get in.
I love Drew Holiday. I love Drew Holiday. He does not deserve the Hall of Fame.
They're all going to get in, bro.
No.
I'm saying. So if
Jaylen Brown with 1 finals win as the second player, that's not a Hall of Fame career. Tatum, sure, he'll get in. I don't even know that I love Jason, but I don't know, he deserves it at this point just by winning a championship. But I'm not saying you're wrong in the fact that they would get in because of who they did it for. Drew would be a 2-time champion, and it would be both times would be after he was traded to the team, the year after he was traded to the team.
Ooh, yeah. So he would definitely be in there.
That's the one I'd honestly be the least mad about.
And then Al Horford's in because the two college national championships, and if he won an NBA championship, he got an all NBA, and he was an all defensive team. Just saying. Don't act like those years with the Hawks weren't good.
Now, he's a very good, very good, very, 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 very good player. I'm not
Ben
hating
Wallace
on
is
him.
in the Hall of
All right,
Fame.
we're moving on. Who's
I'm
gonna win? Who's gonna fucking win?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're saying a lot of bullshit.
I'm taking the Mavs in 6. I picked the Mavs at the beginning of this, so I'm sticking with them. I'm taking them in 6, even though it'll probably go 7. But I feel like being cocky, and I think the Boston Celtics and that fan base, if they start chirping at Luka, don't do it. I'm just saying, don't do it. That man a killer. If you get Luka going, he will be happy to end you at your place. So I'm taking the Mavs in 6. I just got more faith in Luka and Kyrie at this point. And the Celtics continue to prove that they can't get over their bad habits. So I'm sticking with the Mavs in 6.
A little comment from the Twitter world. D-Lo, friend of the show, been on the show. Yeah, I'm rocking with the Mavs. I got Mavs. I'm debating between 5 and 6.
Finally came around.
I'll be respectful.
5 or 6? Oh wow, you really hate the Celtics. You had no faith.
Yeah.
No faith. With the Heat jersey, with the Heat shirt on, got no faith.
Fuck Boston.
Always.
Yeah, no, I got Mavs. I'll say 6. They'll have a game where they make 23s, or maybe a game or two where they make 23s.
Exactly.
So that'll happen. But I think the thing is, who do I trust more? I trust the Mavericks more because I don't trust the Celtics to blow them out every single game. And I've said this for 5 years now. If shit gets tight, the Celtics fold like laundry. Like it's curtains if it's close. They're not going to do it. We know that. So, and on the flip side, of any player in the entire NBA who I want with the ball in his hands in a clutch moment, if I'm being completely unbiased, right? Obviously, I still love my boy Jimmy. He's up there. But, I mean, Kyrie Irving is he's pretty much the answer for that question. Even more than a Kevin Durant, even more than Curry, even more than the guys that are probably better than him overall, right? They might be better players overall for an entire 48 minutes. But that last minute, we saw what happened in 2016. Night.
That's what he did.
And like we've said multiple times, our boy D'Lo said, nobody can guard him. Nobody can guard him.
Drew Holiday said
you are just hoping that Kyrie misses.
Exactly.
You are just hoping that Kyrie misses. That's it. That's your only hope. And
Especially
I don't trust the Celtics to pull away. I don't trust Jason Tatum in the clutch. I don't trust Jaylen Brown in the clutch. He's had some clutch moments this playoff run, so I'll give him his credit there. And if he can finish it off here in this finals, I'll show him a little more respect. But I need to see it in money time. I think that's fair. I don't think that's unfair. Even though I am a certified Boston hater, I think that's a fair critique.
This is what we do in the NBA. You've been there so many times. Now you got to get over the hump. We're going to criticize you if you don't.
It's any sport, right? If you're one of those people that gets there consistently, right? Like, what do we say about Josh Allen in the NFL? I need to see you do it in the playoffs.
See you done.
Herbert, I need to see you do it. You went to one playoff game and you choked to a team that where the opposing quarterback threw 4 interceptions. Tua, you've played one playoff game and you scored like 3 points, right? Like all of these young players, as they start trying to ascend, Joe Burrow gets credit all over all of those guys because he went to a Super Bowl. Now, is that a little unfair? Possibly. He never really put up many points in any of those games. The defense did the heavy lifting, but nonetheless, he beat Mahomes, went to the Super Bowl. He lost, and so again, we're not going to put him in the same conversation with the Patrick Mahomes or to the Rams, Stafford, right? Like at the end of the day, if you want to be, when we're talking about Kyrie, right? We've seen him hit the big shot in Game 7 of the finals to win. So he deserves the credit. That simple. But Joe, you know how we end the show. We choose love. We choose violence. What you got?
I already did my violence on Stephen A. Smith, but I'm still shooting violence out, and it goes to all these media people out here who are apologizing to Kyrie Irving after they done trashed and dogged him for 7 years straight. How could he leave LeBron? Oh, then he went to Boston. He lied to Boston, and then he stepped on Lucky. And then now he went to Brooklyn and he blew all that up. He didn't want to take the COVID shot. He shared some posts on Instagram. Oh, he's a horrible human being. You can't trust him to play basketball. He doesn't really want to play basketball. And now look at him. Silent killer. Went on the TV shows, didn't answer none of your questions, just sat there with a smile and told you he was matured and knew how to handle things. And now all y'all got to do is sit there and kiss his ass and apologize as he's on his way to win another championship. And then you can't say shit to him because he did it without LeBron. And it's going to look like he was the piece that helped Luka get over the hump. Everybody knew Luka could be great, but he needed Kyrie to get him there. And y'all all going to look foolish when Kyrie get it done. And I can't wait because y'all going to look stupid as hell. When you're like, how come Kyrie didn't do any interviews? He just won a championship. It's because y'all shitted on him for 7 years. And I can't wait for the get back because his social media is going to be crazy. I know it. I just can't wait for the get back.
I think over the time period you're talking about, Kyrie has had a couple moments that are regrettable and just objectively not great.
What did he do?
His
what did he
speaking
do?
and everything about COVID was not helpful. That was hurtful. That Kyrie Irving speaking when he spoke about COVID. Okay, but the way he spoke about it inevitably got more people killed. Like there's just no two ways around. Now again, a lot of people had the same position as Kyrie. So Kyrie did not deserve to get any more smoke than you were going to give to anybody else, right? I'm with you there. Like, again, we all have to make decisions at some point in our life. And Kyrie, I think, was on the wrong side of that one. The sharing the anti-Semitic video, there's no, and then doubling down on it. He fucked
You see
up.
how I kind of skipped over that? Social media posts.
He fucked up on that one, right?
I can't say nothing on that one.
He fucked up on that one. But again, I don't think, like, just seeing who Kyrie has been this entire time, I don't think he was bad intentioned. I think he saw a title to a video, thought it was probably about something completely different than it was actually about. Now, he should have been big enough to own that and apologize and do all the things. But as you kind of detailed, even before COVID, when it was just him leaving Boston and going to Brooklyn, he just kept having to take it on the shins. So you can also understand why Kyrie maybe didn't quite feel like giving them the same benefit of the doubt that they've been asking from him. So again, I'm not going to kill Kyrie. I think he deserved the criticism for both those things. But like the person that you're seemingly alluding to, Stephen A. Smith, certainly took it overboard.
Way overboard.
Trying to say he didn't want to play basketball was like the most ridiculous thing in the world.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's all he cares about is basketball, damn near.
Yeah. So I'm like 80% of the way with you there, Joe. Mine, I am choosing violence on the media as well. And I'm choosing violence on how they are trying to frame up and demonize, once again, after she's already said she's been demonized, sexualized, everything in the media, Angel Reese. They are trying to take 5 seconds of her quote about basically saying, it's not just Caitlin Clark that has brought this popularity to the WNBA. I did too. And everybody else that has come before us, but they just very conveniently have clipped that part out of her statement.
It was like a whole minute and a half seconds.
Yeah, and they're only trying to focus on and me too, trying to make her out to be this selfish NBA or WNBA player that can only think about herself and just doesn't want Caitlin Clark to get the shine. No, she was saying her, along with all the people that have come before them, and they are so wild for trying to clip that up the way they have been clipping it up. I'm not gonna say tried, they did clip it up that way. Because I know it's going to make for a spicy sound bite for their talk shows and everything, instead of just addressing the elephant in the room. But again, like we started the show off with, no one wants to take fault in why the WNBA has not had the coverage that it probably should have had for a long time. Right? Still, I do the most for women's. Okay, well, that's a pretty fucking low bar, Stephen A. Because no one really does anything for women's
right?
sports.
Seriously.
So congratulations. You put some very pretty women on your show with you. Wow, it takes a really big straight man to do that.
But you copied from
Skip
Bayless, actually. You just continue what Skip Bayless started.
What every fucking show has done, they put pretty women on as the host. Like that's not fucking groundbreaking. Okay, yes, you have brought in Andrea Carter and Monica McNutt from time to time, but whatever. I could go on for days about that whole conversation. That was the most irritating conversation that I saw.
And low-key, they kind of they brought themselves on because they've been doing so well covering the college game and WNBA for the last
and the NBA, because Monica McNutt is a Knicks broadcaster.
Knicks, that's right, Knicks.
So yeah, she's been putting in the work, right?
Exactly.
Like, the whole situation is crazy. We are 3 into possible. We are out. Finals starting now.